So I'm working on my light now, and the boxes, when I put them in the halls, they stick out a hair, and I want to put a shelf on top of this. So I have to put spacers so that the shelf doesn't hit the boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around, I'm just going to tack these in. All they are is spacers. I don't even need to glue them. I'm just going to shoot them in with a couple of finished nails. No, more than a couple. Put 3 in there. Because all this is doing is going to keep the shelf off of the lights. And put it back a hair. So the next thing after I get these on, then I'm going to strip the wires. I'm going to make the holes in the boxes, and I have wire connectors to put in there. I love this gun. I love all tools. I guess you could call me a little tool whore. Small woman needs big tools. You know, like those big boy toys. Well, these are big girl toys. And that's all she wrote. So they're on there good. And what I did before I brought the light down is I have brackets. I don't know if you can see the brackets. I'll point it up. There's brackets here, and they have holes in the brackets. I marked one hole on each of the parts of the you can't see it, but anyway. I marked on here, and I pre-drilled holes so I could just screw it right up, because once I get up there, I don't want this moving, and right now it'll move all over the place. So what I'm going to do now is, see, I have the wires in here, and these just go in and you twist them in. But this is the wire to the box, to the light. And the electric wire, I'm hoping I'm going to be able, yeah, it'll be in there, all right. I'm going to put one of the connectors on this side and one of the connectors on this side. And I'm not going to be able to connect it up, but I'm going to be able to strip the wires, and I'll be able to tighten these onto the box to be able to get it ready to go up. And I'm doing as much on the ground as I can because I don't like being up in the air. Okay, so the first thing is, you see there's a little thingamajiggy there? You take a flathead screwdriver and you put it in there and you rotate it, and it takes the hole out. I don't know if you can see me doing that. But you just keep doing that until it pops. Because I have special connectors, and I'll show you how to put those in. And what they do is they keep the wire in the box, and it's not able to come out. So I have an in and an out on this one, so I have to do both holes. So I hope everybody had a great Christmas. Mine was so-so. I bought myself some battery-powered tools because I'm the tool whore lady. I have to have great tools. Okay, so the next thing is I have wire connectors. Well, they're not wire connectors. These are screw-in wire holders for the box. And I have it so that I could just screw these in anywhere. But I have to be careful because I don't want the screws to go down, because I had that problem somewhere else I did it. I think it was in an electric box. The wires hit the beam, the screws hit the beam when I tightened them, and it pulled it out of the socket that I had it in. So what the next thing you do is you take, there's a nut on it, you take the nut off, and you put this into the box. And then it's not easy to do this. You have to put the nut onto that while it's in the box. It's a lot easier the way I have it right now. If I was trying to do that inside that hole, it would be a lot harder. And the way they have the wires in this thing, they have the ground wire right on that. Must be a man thing. Anyway, so you just keep spinning it until you tighten it up. And on this one, I'm gonna have to have the screws up on one of them, because when I'm up there, I'm gonna have to tighten the wire. I'm gonna put a wire in here and I'm gonna have to tighten it down up there. So I'm gonna face that one up. And I'm hoping it's not gonna interfere once I tighten it down. But it probably will raise the box. You know it's gonna raise the box because it's gonna raise the box. But that's all right. I have this a little bit higher than the box, so it's fine. But anyway, so I got that one in, sort of. I'm gonna tighten it a little bit more. And those notches on there, if you take a flathead screwdriver, you can push it and tighten it. So then now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take the nut off of this one. I'm gonna put it onto this one. I'm gonna put the screws up, just in case. This side I could tighten it because I'm gonna put this wire in there. So this one I can tighten any way I want. But the box is gonna go in the hole like this. Well, it's gonna go in the hole like this, because this wire has to get plugged to the light. So I'm gonna drop this in. And I'm gonna get the nut on there. Spin that baby around. Like I said, you tighten it as tight as you can with your finger. And then you just push on it with the flathead screwdriver, and that, because there's notches in there, you just tighten it up. All right, did it. Now you make sure it's open enough to get your wire in there. So I'm gonna open it up a little bit more. Because I have all this already. I already ran the wire through the box. So I'm just gonna loosen it up a little bit. All right, that's good. Because my next wire, that one comes in from back here, and then it's gonna have to wrap around the box to come in the hole. And I made this wire long enough that I should have a lot of play. I'm hoping I have play. You know, that play thing. Anyway, so now I got the wire in there. And make sure I have enough slack that I have play wire in that side. Because this side, 2 wires are coming in too, because the inlet's coming in, and then it'll go out to this light, and then the power's there. So it'll come in that way. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten the wire. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna feed this first. I don't know, it's a little tight. I guess I didn't make my hole big enough, did I? I may have to make my hole bigger. Oh, we need to make a bigger hole. Unless I could take this wire this way. I don't think so. The cardboard is in there and it's interfering. I don't know if there's another pathway. Let's see if there's another pathway. Because I have to have the wire on this side for the light. It's fun when you're making stuff out of junk. But I don't throw anything away because I never know what I'm going to use it for. Because my brain never stops thinking. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I get myself into trouble. There's no pathway that way. All right, so I guess I'm gonna have to make a bigger hole. So if I'm gonna have to make a bigger hole, I'm gonna have to make a bigger hole anyway because these, I forgot the nuts are on there. So I will just make a bigger hole. It's all right, I have my multi-purpose tools. It's all ready to go. Doesn't have to be perfect, but that stupid cardboard's in there. I have to cut that out. Easy peasy. Now let's put that box in there. Oh, now it fits nice. Look, see? Plenty of room. Now I can slide it back and forth. I think I'm gonna cut these and cut this hole bigger because I know that one's not gonna fit either. Oh, this one might fit. I think I'll make it a little bit bigger. I just don't want to cut my wire. Yeah, that seems good. Let's check it out. I'm gonna put this one in that has the wires on it. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. I have plenty of room now to move the wires around and do whatever I need. Of course, I gotta tighten this down again. These things never want to stay tight. Get the big guns out. My lineman pliers. My last house, my husband and I built it, and I did all the wiring in it. And I did all the insulation and all the floors. He didn't like getting dirty. So I had to gut the house because it was on a 2.5 acre piece of property. It had a big giant garage. And the house was a trailer that they built a house around the trailer. It was like on a Sunday afternoon. They all got together and said, let's put a house on top of the trailer. And that's what they did. And then I had to rip that trailer out. Because you can't sell a house, you can't sell a trailer without a title. So and there was no title to the trailer, so I had to get the trailer out of the house. So then I did. And then everything that I could recycle, I recycled. Like the copper that I took out, because I put all PEX in. And then took all the radiators out, because I put forced air heat in it. So I was able to take all the copper and get my money for the copper and stuff. And then when I pulled the trailer out, it still had an aluminum side. It still had the metal siding on it. So I got money for that. So don't throw things away. If you can recycle it, you can make yourself a little bit of money. It's not a lot of money. I think I made like $300 or $400. But there was aluminum siding on the house. And I didn't want that. I wanted to put vinyl on it. And I got a lot of money for that. Aluminum, that's construction aluminum from houses and windows. It's worth a lot of money when you go to recycle it. A lot more than metal. Just regular scrap metal is only like, I don't know, $1 or 100 pounds or something like that. So there's not a lot of money in it, but it's better to have it recycled, that you're not just throwing it out, than it is to just throw it out. And I'm just mindlessly talking and working at the same time. My mouth does that. All right, so the next thing is I'm gonna do this one up. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get the wire in this one so you could see how that's done. And then I'm going to pause the camera, and then I will get that one in. And then I'll take it up to the top and I'll show you how I'm going to wire it. Because I have the wires already bare up there. I just have to bare the wires down here and get them attached to the box. Let's see if I can get that wire in there now. And since I have the wire long, I'm going to bring it pretty much through so that I can manipulate it any way I want. And then I'm going to thread it in here again. And the wire in the box, you don't really need this one that long. But I'm going to attach another wire to it, so I'm going to make it a little bit longer. Because you can always cut it off. You can't add on to it if you cut it too short. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to these little screws on the side of my nuts here. It helps if you could see. And I'm going to tighten it down. So once you get the wire nice and tight in there, then you could strip it and do whatever you want to do with it. And if you connect a light and there's a power source to it and you're just switching the switch off, do yourself a favor, because when you cut the wires like this, there's a chance that those wires can connect. So strip the wire and put wire nuts on every wire. That keeps it a little bit, it keeps it safer for you, that they won't cross and maybe snap the breaker. And I'll show you, I have it done like that up there, because that's on a switch. And when you're wiring a light, you just have to turn the switch off. But you have to make sure that nobody turns the switch on while you're wiring it. And you really should turn the breaker off. All right, so that's in there real good. It's not going anywhere. So the next thing I'm going to do is see if I can find my right here it is, my knife. I'm going to strip this wire, and I'm just going to slice it down the center. I don't know if you'll be able to see. And you try not to cut the other wires, because if you cut the wires, you get you'll have a short. So I'm just going to split that in the center of the casing. And then you take the casing off and you expose the wires. And this wire for lights, you only need 14-2 wire. When you're doing a plug, you really should have 12-2 wire. It's lets more voltage go through, or amperage and voltage. And I'm not a expert, okay? I learned by reading books and teaching myself how to do this. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to expose the wire on these. It's already done on the part that gets attached to the box. And there's wire cleaners. And what you're going to do is you put the wire in the designated spot. 12-2 is that one, 14-2 is that one, so I'm going to go up to that one. And it's on both sides. And I don't need it any longer than 1/2 inch. That's plenty because I only have one wire that's getting connected to it plus these. So that's plenty. You know, sometimes they say over 1 inch is too much. And that's the case here. You don't want it over 1 inch. So there's your 1/2 inch on that one. I'm going to about guesstimate on this one. I'm pretty good with knowing about what measurements are, and I can see level. And everybody thinks I'm out of my mind, but if there's something not level, I can see it, and it drives me out of my mind. And I want to constantly touch it and fix it. And if it's something that's already done that I can't fix, it drives me crazy. All right, so I got that done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this wire to the light, and I'm going to connect the light. And I'm going to try to get this in there. Now I have to manipulate the wire because of that stupid cardboard in there. But that should be good. And I still have plenty of length to get into my box. And that one I have to put 2 of the wire holders. I don't know what these things are called. I think they're wire nuts of some type. Okay, so that one is in there. This one's still loose, so I could feed my other wire in. I'm gonna feed this in, but I know I'm gonna have to lift this out to get that wire in there. So I'll probably have to refeed it through again. And I was gonna connect the light, but I'm gonna need that slack in that. Well, maybe I won't. There might be enough. So these lights, you get it in there, you plug it in, and then you turn it, and that locks it so it can't come out. They're real easy. You wire all the wires here. You don't have to do it on the light. But anyway, that gives me a little leeway there. So I'm good on that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to connect those and get that one all ready, because then we're going to take it, then I'm going to take it up top, and I'm going to change the position of the camera so you could see me wiring and feeding up there. Because up there is where I'm going to twist the wires and put the nuts on. So I'll be back in a couple minutes.